This video proudly sponsored by the Magic Candle Company. Visit the link in the description down below. Use offer code OFFHAND15 for 15% off your whole purchase, or stay tuned till the end of the video so I can talk even more about it if you're into that sort of thing. I know I am. I love candles. This will very soon be a piece of Disney park history. Not the Pop Funko vinyl, but the ride that it's actually based off of, Splash Mountain. It opened in Disneyland in 1989, and it was very well received, being Disneyland's first log flume attraction. But it's had a very colorful history over the years, and the film that it is based off of has a very controversial history, and that's what we're going to be talking about today.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
We're here. We're ready to ride Splash Mountain.
But no.
I was told that we could be the first to ride Splash Mountain, and we're ready to go.
Well, it's not open yet. I'm sorry.
In 1946, Walt Disney Studios released the animation live-action hybrid musical known as Song of the South, a movie based off of the Uncle Remus stories written by Joel Chandler Harris. The movie is set after the end of the Civil War, after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, freeing the slaves. Uncle Remus in this movie is played by actor James Baskett, and Baskett would later go on to earn an honorary Oscar for his portrayal of Uncle Remus in the movie, making him the first black man to ever win an honorary Academy Award and the only actor to receive the award for a single performance. The film was a financial success upon release, but was very controversial even in the 40s when it first came out. The movie was released time and time again up until 1986 as a promotion for the opening of a brand new Disneyland attraction. That's right, Splash Mountain. Now I could talk about this movie for the entire video, but I'm really here to talk about Splash Mountain, and I'm also not really qualified to talk about the problems that this movie brings to the surface. If you're interested in seeing different parts of the movie for yourself, there are clips that have been uploaded to YouTube over the years, and I highly recommend going and watching them and learning about this movie. Meanwhile, over at Disneyland and Tomorrowland, an animatronics show called America Sings was due for demolition. A song that would go over various historical aspects and regions of the United States through folk music. The animatronic characters in the show were designed by legendary WED employee and animator Mark Davis. According to Disney legend, during the hot summer of 1983, Disney Imagineer Tony Baxter was stuck in rush hour traffic on his way to work. He had been told by his boss, Michael Eisner, of course it's gotta be Michael Eisner, that Disney needed to revitalize the aging Disneyland with rides that would appeal to teenagers and a young adult demographic. Something that they would pull off successfully in 1987 with the addition of Star Tours. Now Tony Baxter knew he wanted to attract guests to the empty corner of the park beyond New Orleans Square known as Bear Country, a land that contained the Country Bear Jamboree and, well, not much else. Although Imagineers were hesitant about putting a log flume ride at Disneyland, Tony Baxter thought that the characters from Song of the South would make it so that not only was the log flume ride thrilling, but there was also a very engrossing story to tell. Also, the tales from the Okefenokee ride from Six Flags Georgia may have played a part. Another log flume ride based on the stories of Joel Chandler Harris that opened at Six Flags Over Georgia in 1967. When asked if he had ever been on Tales of the Okefenokee, Tony Baxter responded that yes, he had in fact been on the Six Flags ride. So that probably inspired Splash Mountain a little. And not only would Disney be able to build a brand new thrilling attraction with the characters from Song of the South, but they would also be able to rescue the animatronics from America Sings. Because while Mark Davis designed the animatronics for America Sings, he also was the lead animator behind Brer Fox, Brer Rabbit, and Brer Bear for Song of the South. So luckily, the look of the old animatronics from Tomorrowland would fit in just perfectly with the new animatronics in Bear Country. Now at this time, Bear Country already contained a mountain. Well, I mean, it was more of a hill at this point. And when guests would walk by this hill, they would hear Rufus the Bear from the Country Bear Jamboree snoring from a cave high up on the hill. Disney used this already existing Bear Hill to their advantage and used it for the foundations of what would eventually become Chickapin Hill for Splash Mountain. And even the sound of Rufus the Bear snoring away in his cave was kept for Splash Mountain, but instead of Rufus, it would now be Brer Bear snoring in his home right before the first drop. By 1989, construction on Splash Mountain was wrapping up. The America Sings animatronics have been moved from Tomorrowland to Bear Country, now Critter Country, because there's more than just bears now. And at long last, Michael Eisner had his log flume thrill ride that he'd been hoping for years. The ride was named Splash Mountain, by the way, because they wanted to promote and tie in the ride with their new film, Splash, starring Tom Hanks. Again, that was another Michael Eisner thing. All that was left to do was to open the ride and see how the guests would react.
Splash Mountain may look peaceful and fun, out is a long way down. Splash Mountain, now open at Disneyland.
Alright, I know we all like to clown on Michael Eisner, but the opening of Splash Mountain was a huge success, and it became a Disneyland classic almost immediately. And just like Tony Baxter had predicted, it contained the right amount of immersive story and thrills to keep guests coming back day after day, year after year. And they made this rap video. Disneyland Splash Mountain was so successful, in fact, that Michael Eisner had another one commissioned to be built at Walt Disney World just 3 years later. Disney World Splash Mountain would be a bit different, way bigger, and have a few more story scenes that Disneyland didn't have. Today, Splash Mountain is enjoyed by people all over the world. A Tokyo version of it opened just a day before the Magic Kingdoms in 1992, although many of those guests have no idea about the movie that the ride is actually based on. But 1 week ago, as of the making of this video, Disney made an announcement that shook the Disney fandom to their core. An announcement that would end up dividing Disney Parks fans for days to come. I'm not sure how long people are going to be upset about this. Although, what ride changes don't Disney fans get divided over? On June 25th of 2020, the Disney Parks blog announced that Disney would be re-theming Splash Mountain at Disneyland and the Magic Kingdom to a new Princess and the Frog themed log flume attraction. Now, by what we can see in this concept art, which seems to be the Disney World version of this new Splash Mountain because we are sort of standing on the bridge in front of Splash Mountain watching the logs go round and round, it's a sort of view you don't really get at Disneyland. We can see that the former stump on top of Chickapin Hill leading down into the Briar Patch is going to be changed to Mama Odie's boat that's stuck in the tree in the bayou. And we can see here that the briars leading into the actual former Briar Patch are going to be changed to more roots and cattails coming out of the ground. Although we still will see a few thorny brambles as we plunge down into wherever we're going. And if we zoom back out to the boat that Tiana and Louis the alligator are both sitting in, it looks like they're throwing sort of a Mardi Gras celebration with the fireworks and the jester hat and all the colors going on there. And while we don't know exactly what is going in its place, Disney would never replace a classic well-loved attraction with something way worse for no reason. Besides that time. Now I, like a lot of you probably, are very sad to see Splash Mountain go. It's a big part of my childhood, as I'm sure it's a big part of your guys' childhood or adulthood. Splash Mountain was and is that ride I like to go on late at night when nobody is in line, or when it's drizzling and no one really wants to get in line because they don't want to get even more wet. That is when I go on Splash Mountain. I would go on Splash Mountain over and over again at nighttime just because I could and no one else wanted to. This ride has a sort of charm that you don't see anywhere else in the Disney parks, and a smell that you don't get anywhere else, not even in Pirates of the Caribbean. And I don't think it makes you a bad person to be sad that this ride is going the way of Horizons, or the People Mover, or the Western River Expedition, even though that one never even opened. While I'm bummed it's going away, I'm also very, very, very excited to see what Disney brings to this ride, how they can update it. Hopefully with not too many screens. I'm really not a big fan of screens. Heck, I even think with this version of the remodel, you can keep the animals that aren't Brer Fox, Brer Bear, or Brer Rabbit, because there are Mark Davis-y looking animals in the movie. And what this could possibly mean for a Bayou-themed expansion of New Orleans Square. Seriously, Disney, if you need any help on that, go ahead and give me a call. Basically, we don't know too much about what this new version of the ride will entail. I just hope it keeps its name as Splash Mountain. And because the original creator of Splash Mountain, Tony Baxter, is back on board the creative team for this new version. The last attraction he had a hand in being Star Tours The Adventures Continue in 2011. Disney has gone on record saying that the plans to re-theme Splash Mountain have been on the table for a couple of years now at this point. And Disney has not announced a closing date for Splash Mountain yet, so if you want to get your rides in while you still can, I highly recommend getting into the park. Whenever you can, at least. So I'm going to ask you a different question than I did last time, because we all know how that turned out. What is your favorite part of Splash Mountain, and what is your favorite memory of going on Splash Mountain? I really want to hear about that down in the comments below. Mine is, of course, not having to wait in line and going on the ride at night and just going around and around and around and enjoying the ride and not even getting that wet. Well, not that wet. From its beginnings as an old classic yet not quite beloved movie all the way up to the brand new e-ticket thrill ride Michael Eisner had been hoping for all these years, Splash Mountain has a very, very interesting history. So whenever you get back into the parks, may I recommend heading down to Critter Country or Frontierland and taking in the music, the atmosphere, the smell even. Again, very unique smell, because it may not be there that much longer, and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is completely up to you. For me, change is always good. Unless it's a retheming of the Haunted Mansion, because that is where I draw the line. That is where I become an angry Disney Parks fan. And hey, remember when I said you want to savor the smell of Splash Mountain? That's where today's sponsor comes in handy, Magic Candle Company. They have managed to capture the essence of the smell of Splash Mountain, harness it, and turn it into its own candle, or spray, or oil. Head over there with the link in the description, use the offer code OFFHAND15 for 15% off your whole purchase, and make your house smell like Pirates, or Splash Mountain, or the Mansion, or whatever ride you want to smell like. So, although it's going to be a sad goodbye, I think it's going to be an even brighter future for Splash Mountain. And the memories of riding it will mean even more when Disneyland's celebrating their 157,000th anniversary, and we're waiting in line for the Princess and the Frog version of Splash Mountain, and we get to tell all the young kids how we were on this when it was the original incarnation, Splash Mountain, with Brer Fox, Brer Bear, and Brer Rabbit, the third one. Also, you can never forget Brer Raccoon and his amazing side-eye as you ride past. So I hope that we keep all these lovely memories of this log flume attraction in our hearts, as lame as it sounds. I hope that you all are looking forward to the new incarnation of Splash Mountain, and I hope that you all walk away from this video having a zippity-doo-dah day. Hello everybody, I hope you all enjoyed this quick video going over the history of Splash Mountain and the future of Splash Mountain. Sorry about that last video and the whole comments turned off thing. It got a little out of control there in the comments section. It was too many to ban or too many to moderate over time, so I just decided to turn it all off. I'm going to keep them on this video, though. I'm sure if you've made it this far in the video and you like watching this part of the video, that you're not the people who have a problem with that sort of thing. Just lots of really gross and, for lack of a better term, really racist people finding their way to my video, so I didn't want any part of that. The things mine eyes have seen in that comments section. Like I said, you made it this far in this video, you're probably one of the cool guys, so thanks for being so cool. And thanks for watching to the end of the video. Again, Magic Candle Company, if you want to help out the channel and get yourself a Splash Mountain candle. That is going to be it for me, everybody. Let me know if you like this sort of ride history video. I'd like to go into more deeper detail on individual rides maybe sometime in the future. This is one for Splash Mountain, obviously, but maybe we'll talk about, I don't know, the Matterhorn, or perhaps the People Mover. The names that you see scrolling by right now are the names of my many wonderful Patreon patrons. They help keep the dream alive, so to speak. So if you're interested in joining that club, getting early access to episodes, maybe like this one, even just $1 really goes a long way. And I think that's it for everything today, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you guys in the parks sometime in the future, and in the next video if you can't quite make it to the parks. Goodbye.